for Maureen this season?
Well, this is epic, isn't it? I mean, it's based on the books by Robert Jordan. You're on series 3 now, and people say that this is the most ambitious series yet.
We're very proud of it. We're a very close cast. We've weathered a lot together, and this is definitely our most elaborate and complex, and I think it's the offering we're most proud of. It's the most ambitious, and it's beautiful. We were finally allowed to get the aspect ratio, which means the size of the screen that we wanted, so it's wider and there's more of it, and it looks cinematic and wonderful.
It's a feast.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so spectacular and very visual, like you say. What is it like when you watch it back and you see it all come together?
Well, a lot of it, on this show, a lot of it happens in camera. So we have incredible set builders. So the world building for us to experience is real. So we build villages. We built a city in South Africa, all made of rocks. We Tarvalon, which is where the sort of seat of power for the women like me, the Aes Sedai, is. That's all a set that's been up since season 1. And we also travel to places like Slovenia, to South Africa, to Morocco. So we get a lot in camera. And then we have a second-to-none visual effect, doesn't know when. And she goes out into the desert, as you do, and kind of defiantly says, I'm here, and right now I'm alive. And so I wanted to express that with the visual effects, and the VFX team were really willing to engage, and they've made something so beautiful that really says, you know, if you are at the brink, you know, what do you want to express? And it's kind of hurt and aliveness and, you know, rage and vulnerability and all of it, and yeah, it's exciting.
That scene's got all of that, hasn't it? You mentioned that you travelled around a bit filming. Some of it was done in Prague, a city which is obviously famous for classical music. And is it right that you went back to a hobby that you used to do when you were a bit younger?
It is, because I experienced the lockdown in the first COVID pandemic in Prague. I stayed there, my children were at school. And our production designer, his daughter plays the cello, and she was 14 at the time. And as he showed me videos of her playing, it reminded me of when I was a child and used to play. And he said, well, you know what, during lockdown, I'm going to rent you a cello. And just, you know, maybe you'll feel like playing it. And he rented me a cello from the Prague Music School. And I thought, oh, I wonder if I'll have any of this in me. And when you've learnt as a child, it is in you. So Prague, I have to thank for kind of reawakening what has turned out to be a passion.
So do you still play?
Yes, I do, except and tonight is very exciting because I've just had my nails filed down, the sort of opposite of what most women want. And for 6 months, I've played 3 characters in a row who've had to have long, beautiful nails, and I haven't been able to play at all. So tonight is a big moment. I have no nails. I will go back and play, yeah.
Well, speaking of other characters, you're returning to the stage for the first time in a decade in Inter Alia, playing another very powerful character.
My stomach just falls into my boots when you say that. It's so funny. It really does. You know, all through my 20s, I was on stage a lot, and it felt sort of natural and right. And now it's frightening. Yes, I'm playing a judge in a play by Susie Miller, who wrote Prima Facie. It's a very exciting project. It's also about a mother raising a son, and I have 2 sons, so that's very close to my heart. And it's really about the juggle of life. And when you've given your life over to the law, is the law enough when things start to get rough?
Interesting.
So it's challenging and exciting, and yeah.
And even though she's got a big job, she's a judge.
Yes.
She likes a bit of karaoke.
She loves karaoke.
She loves karaoke. And we heard that you did a bit of karaoke in the cast party for Wheel of Time.
Oh, yes. Yes, I like to throw a party, and in Prague, our house became quite a party house, whether it was sedate Sunday lunches that got a bit wild or sometimes a party that rolled on into the evening. And we did have a karaoke party, and it was really fun. And we got some very good singers, of which I'm not one. But I was giving my rendition of Jarvis Cocker in Common People. I'd like to do the men, because I just don't have a great voice, so you're just better if you know, play the fellows. So I was in the middle of Common People, and suddenly the lights went off, the music was dead, and we thought we've had a power cut. But it wasn't a power cut, it was the police, who, in a kind of really cool move, if they can't get you by ringing the doorbell, they just cut the power to your house.
That's pretty amazing.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I like it.
I thought, check police. I thought, yeah.
They're serious.
Got style, yeah. And then my friend went down, who speaks Czech, went down to a apologise and ended up being invited on a date. So they really have got moves, the Prague Police. Yeah.
Wow,
A game of two halves, that one. Well, Series 3 of The Wheel of Time is available on Prime Video, with new episodes landing on Thursdays, and you can see Rosamund's play Inter Alia at the National Theatre in London from July.